I do my hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Kimmy Giselle, and on my channel I talk about mental health on Sundays and relationships on Wednesdays. So I hope you guys can catch them both. Sorry, I keep getting distracted because I can see my hair and it's bugging the shit out of me. Like, it's like not cooperating today. It's unacceptable. Anyways, let's move on. Last week we talked about self-love, and I hope you guys watched that because it is one of my favorite things to talk about because it's so important. But if you haven't watched it, I hope you guys do go watch it. But if not, let's just jump right into the next topic. Today we're talking about emotional baggage, and I feel like this has such a negative connotation to it because it's like, I don't want to date anyone with emotional baggage, which, yes, I would agree, you probably wouldn't want to, but we all have it, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just something we just gotta handle and move on with our lives. So let's talk about the signs that you most likely have emotional baggage. Sign number 1 is that you have a negative perception in the beginning of a relationship that it will not work out. So, say in the beginning you start talking to someone and you already have that mindset that this isn't going to work. He's just going to leave me like the other guys. He doesn't really care. He's just a player, blah, blah, blah. Like all of these things that you're already telling yourself, and it's like you guys just started talking. Why is that a problem? Number 1 is because you're carrying past hurt or past experiences onto the next potential relationship. And number 2, once you have that belief, you might start self-sabotaging in order to confirm that belief that he will leave you. So you start doing things that are attractive, start doing things that are pushing him away, and then he leaves, and then you're like, see, I knew he was going to leave, because that's going to confirm your belief. So don't do that. That is sign number 1, emotional baggage. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is you compare your current relationship to your last relationship. It is so understandable that like you kind of have those things where like, oh yeah, he does this that, my ex didn't do, or she does this that my ex didn't do. Like 1 or 2 things. But if you are constantly comparing your current relationship to your last relationship, there is something there that you are not over. There is something you're holding inside of you, and you need to handle that, especially if it's becoming a problem in your current relationship. So say your last relationship, he cheated on you, and then in this relationship you are constantly trying to check his phone, or you're constantly asking him where he's at, or if he cheated on you, or if he doesn't like you, or all of these other things because of that past hurt. So that's another thing. So make sure that isn't happening, and if it is, it's likely you do have some emotional baggage. Really pay attention. Number 3. So this one can go either way. So either you fear commitment, you fear that if you commit, they're going to abandon you, they're going to leave you, they're going to hurt you, or it's the opposite where you are just jumping from relationship to relationship, not actually healing from one before getting into another, and that actually creates a different problem, which is codependency, because typically you're not dealing with whatever it is you need to deal with. You're just relying on the next person to help you feel better, which is not bueno. So again, that was number 3, fear of commitment, or you're just jumping from relationship to relationship, creating codependency. Number 4 is that you're always angry or negative. And I've already said this before, like being around people that are always negative and angry is just super draining for anyone. So if you're always nitpicking at your partner, or you're always just being negative for no reason, or just just being mad for like for something that's not even a big deal, it's likely that you do have some emotional baggage. You could be emotionally drained as well. So for sure you have some things that you need to take care of with yourself. And of course we all get mad, and we all get mad sometimes, but to always be angry and to always have something negative to say is very draining. And again, it's not attractive. No one wants to be around negative energy. So make sure you are checking yourself. And number 5 is you project your insecurities onto other people. And I'm just going to tell you a couple. So one example of projection is that he or she hates me. So you're going to be like, he or she hates me, when in reality it's an insecurity with yourself, that you're probably not comfortable in your own skin, or you have this underlying belief that, I don't know, it's just something within yourself that you're actually projecting onto other people so that you become the victim. And that's also with, she's so ugly, she's so fat, or she's so, when you're insulting other people, it's likely because you're insecure about yourself. And again, you're not comfortable in your own skin. You're projecting your insecurities onto other people, which isn't cool. So yeah. And lastly, another one I hear is, other people make me feel uncomfortable. And this is more of like saying that like you kind of have like social anxiety. And one thing, like, I understand social anxiety, like I still get it sometimes, but one thing I know for sure is that it's not other people that are making me feel this way. It's something that's going on with me in my thought process that I need to control, not other people. So that's what we need to do as well, is when you're saying, oh, other people make me feel uncomfortable, nope, it's you. You're making yourself feel uncomfortable with the way you're thinking, the way you're processing your thought, or whatever you're assuming is happening. You are making yourself feel that way. And unless you take control of that, it's never going to change. So I hope you guys are catching my drift here. Again, I do post mental health videos on Sundays, and I'm currently going over distorted thinking, which can fall under that realm. So hopefully you guys are watching those. But again, it has to do with you, not other people. Alrighty, that was projection. That was number 5. So we went to negative perception in the beginning of a relationship, comparing your relationships, fear of commitment or creating codependency, always angry or negative, and projection as number 5. Now, what to do? Number 1, don't go jumping into another relationship. Again, this is just so you won't drag other people into it and create even more problems. Because the reality is, if you haven't dealt with that emotional baggage, it's not gonna work. And that's just that. There's no other way around it. So number 2, what do we have to do? So you gotta work on yourself. You gotta work on your self-esteem, you gotta work on your self-love, and you gotta work on your mental health. And again, I post them on Sundays. I'm gonna throw that out there again, because I know how important it is. I had to go through it. I learned it. I studied it. I took classes on it. I read books on it. I podcast every day, because once I started learning about it, I was like, wow, that's insane. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so questions to ask yourself, and I suggest you write these down. I always suggest writing things down, because when you're not writing things down, you are constantly going from thought to thought to thought to thought to thought to thought to thought. That's actually kind of hard to say. And you're not actually processing everything. So write it down, slow it down, and process your thoughts. So ask yourself, who hurt me and how? Whoever pops up, when you ask yourself that, who hurt me, the first person that pops up, or the second or the third, write them down, all of them, because it's likely that they're the ones who created some pain in you, or that you were actually hurt by them. So go ahead and write those names down. How did they hurt you? In what way? Number 2 is, how did that make you feel? Make sure you're using the correct words when you are writing this down, because if you say you felt mad versus really you were hurt, that's going to create a different emotion in you. So if you say mad, when you think mad, how do you think? You're like angry, you're want to get back at someone. That's kind of mad feeling. But if you say you're hurt, you're kind of like, dang, that like, I didn't like that kind of thing. And you're not necessarily trying to hurt someone else back, but you're just feeling that pain. So make sure you are describing those words. Google it. Google synonyms for mad or happy or sad, and you'll get a bunch more that would likely depict how you feel versus just one word, mad. So how did that make you feel? Choose the right words. Number 3 is to thank yourself. Thank your body for allowing you and sending you those signals, because a lot of times our body is always sending us signals, and we just need to learn to listen to them. So positive reinforcement towards yourself is going to basically just kind of just create that comfort within yourself. It's kind of weird. I know, I do it. well, now I'm always reinforcing myself for everything. But I know in the beginning it is weird thanking yourself. It sounds weird too. And number 4, write how you would like to feel instead. So if you've been feeling emotionally drained, write that you would like to feel more energized or happy or comfortable, or just any of those that you would like to start feeling. Write them down. And number 5 is to forgive yourself. This one's so important, and especially if you were on the wrong end, that you did something wrong to someone else. Forgiving yourself is such a big key, because then you're just holding that around. You're holding that like grudge on yourself, and that's not something healthy. It's not something that you should carry around, because again, we all do make mistakes. I used to be a bitch. Honestly, I was just a bitch. Like, for real. And I'll tell you guys about my stories, but I was. But I forgive myself for it, because I have changed, and I have gone through a lot that have made me see differently, I guess you can say. So again, forgive yourself for those things. Forgive yourself for putting yourself in a situation that can potentially get you hurt, even if your body was sending you those signals. Like, you know how your intuition is like, don't do it, and you're like, fuck it, and then you do it anyways, and then you feel guilty. So again, forgive yourself for all of those. But anyways, those were my 5 signs of emotional baggage, and then those were my 5 tips on what to do if you do have emotional baggage. Again, I post mental health postings on Sundays, so go ahead and catch those. Relationships are on Wednesdays. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any comments, tips, questions, or video suggestions, ideas, please comment those down below. I would love to talk to you guys, or if you guys had experience with any of these, please talk to me. I would love to engage with you guys. But again, my next posting date will be on Sunday, and that's all I have for you guys today. So I'll catch you guys later.
Boss up and change your